All right, welcome. I'd like to get this webinar started right on time right away. My name is Terry Telford. I'm going to be hosting the webinar for you. And I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join me and learn how to make $10,000 a month in the next 90 days. Now, just to add a bit of perspective to that, for some people, that's going to sound like a whole lot of money. For other people, it's not going to sound like very much at all. Regardless what your perspective is, I think we can all pretty much agree that it's not going to hurt to have some extra cash in your bank account. Now, just before we get to the real content of the webinar, I'd like to properly introduce myself and give you a quick history of what I've done, uh, basically my online background, and let you see pretty much that I'm giving you real solid information. This isn't just theory. So I started working online in 2001, and I started off like most people do. I looked in the search engines for different ways to make money, and like most people, I fell for a few scams. I lost a bit of money, but I kept on going, and after about 6 months, I found a mentor that showed me what she was doing online, and I was able to simply duplicate what she showed me, and then I started slowly making some money online. So it wasn't one of these jump online, suddenly get rich quick experiences for me at all. It was a very slow and methodical process, but it did happen. In 2002, I wrote my first book called Website Ladder, and it was pretty much all the information that I gained in my past year of experience and a compilation of articles from other authors as well. Then in 2003, I started a website called The Business Professional, and it was essentially a membership website that featured interviews with successful entrepreneurs, and it was that website that was responsible for my biggest sales. And it was a very successful website because I partnered with Edwin Ryan, and the synergy between the two of us were able to develop a business uh, that exceeded my expectations of me trying to do something on my own. We'll give you a bunch of details on that in a minute. Next, in 2005, I wrote my first book about joint ventures, and I was able to brand it with the Guerrilla Marketing brand because I actually did a joint venture with J. Conrad Levinson, who, as you know, is the father of guerrilla marketing and the inventor of that brand. Now, in 2006, I did my first big sale with the Business Professional, and Edwin and I were able to generate $40,000 in 14 days. I was totally excited because it was a mind-blowing experience. I've heard of other people doing it, and it's always out there, and you always hope that it's going to happen. When it actually happens to you, it's a completely it's an indescribable feeling. I literally felt like I won the lottery. So Edwin and I split the profits, and we kind of happily moved forward. We then went to in 2008. We had our biggest sale ever. We did a massive private label rights sale that grossed almost $130,000 in 7 days, and I tell you, it again totally blew my mind. I can't even really begin to tell you how exciting it is to keep checking your PayPal account every half hour and literally just watching the money pour into your account. And that was really the pinnacle of my online career. In 2009, I decided to retire from the online world because I wanted to start something offline and start something where I could meet local business owners instead of just simply working on the computer. You know, me and my computer screen basically. So I sold my online business, and then I started a micro niche newspaper. Now it was a very small town newspaper, but it did really well because it covered a part of town that the big papers were ignoring. So I got to meet lots and lots of business owners, and I developed lots of local business relationships. And then kind of an interesting twist happened. Uh, One of the advertisers in the newspaper decided that he wanted to sell his little takeout restaurant. And it just so happened that my girlfriend wanted to start a restaurant. So in 2011, we bought the restaurant. And so I was, at that point now, I was, sorry, that was 2011. I think I said 2007. 2011, we bought the restaurant. And so I was essentially publishing the newspaper, helping her with the restaurant. And things kept getting busier and busier and busier at the restaurant. So I was spending a lot more time there and less time with the newspaper. So I pretty much had to make a decision whether to keep the newspaper and back away for the restaurant or vice versa. So in 2012, I decided to sell the newspaper, and and at the same time I started missing the online world because it's literally it is so much easier to make money online than offline, and I'm going to break that down for you in a moment. But for now, let's just get started. Let's get started into the webinar. I'm going to show you how to make $10,000 a month in the next 3 months. Now, just to put that into perspective, 3 months from now, your business can be making $10,000 a month if you follow the plan. A year from now, you could be making $40,000 or $50,000 a month or more, just simply by following the plan, increasing the amount of effort and duplicating exactly what you're doing, scaling it up and really making it work. But you have to put the time and the effort into your business. And to get the results that we're looking at, if you do nothing after this evening, you're not going to make anything in 90 days. The reality is your results are completely dependent on your actions. So let's get started. Let's get right into it. We're going to look at your business in two parts. Now, the first part is the intangible part. The second part is the core or the tangible part of your business. Now, the intangible part is things like your mindset, the way that you see things, your market choices, your goal setting, and essentially all the planning process that you put into your business. And it's where you're going to make some decisions about the direction of your company. Now, we're not going to take a lot of time doing it, but we do need to put some of the pieces of the puzzle in place so that you have a benchmark to measure your results. So first off, we're going to check your mindset. We're going to be talking in business terms from here on in. So you need to approach your online business as a business owner and not a consumer. Now, the difference between a business mindset and a consumer mindset is what you consider success. Now, as a business owner, you're results oriented. That means that if you try something and it doesn't work exactly the way you wanted it to, you don't just kind of throw in the towel, go sit in the corner and whine about it. You tweak it, you rework it, and you try it again. So success for a business owner is results oriented. Now, success as a consumer is in the purchase. You buy a nice car, that's success. End of story. So you don't want to confuse the two mindsets. Buying something as a business owner is not success. Buying something that you can turn into a profit, now that's success. All right, now as an internet business owner, I recommend that you sell information products. They have little or no cost to produce. They have a high markup, so you have high profit margins, and that means there's more money in your bank account. There's very little customer service to worry about because the technology is extremely, extremely simple. So let's say, for example, you write a book or you record an audio, let's say a video. There's really no expenses other than your time. And of course, obviously the equipment, but there's really no super expensive equipment that you're going to be using for it anyway. It's very, very low cost. So even if you're selling your product for, let's say, $5 or $10, you can still make a lot of money quite quickly. Because at the end of the day, it's not how much money that you make, but how much money that you keep. And I'm going to give you a quick example. Let's say you have a little restaurant. All right, your little restaurant makes about $20,000 a month. Now, out of that $20,000, you need to pay your employees, your food costs, your rent. Probably you've taken a loan to be able to buy the place in the first place. You've got equipment leases. You've got your heat and hydro, all your utilities. You've got to have some marketing to be able to get the word out there about your restaurant. lots of miscellaneous expenses, insurance, phone, etc., etc., etc. So you're looking at realistically having about $19,000 a month in expenses. So to make $20,000, you're looking, to spend about 19,000. So you end up with about $1,000 of profit at the end of the month, which is only about 5%. All right, now if you take a look at your internet business, let's say you're doing only half that much money. You're going to be making $10,000 a month. Okay, so you're not making 20 now, you're making 10. So you've got half the income, and it looks something like this. Your expenses then are going to be potentially for outsourcing. Now, your outsourcing doesn't have to start right at the beginning. You can do the work yourself until you get to the point where you can afford to have some outsourcing, some other people working with you. Your internet connection, basically the insurance for your office in your house, which it's very tax beneficial for you. You got some hosting. Domain name is about $1 a month. You're looking about what $10 to $15 a year, so it's no big deal. So your total expenses, you're looking at about $676, which means you then have a profit of $9,324. So your profit margin is roughly 93%. Now, if you're working from home, which most of us online do, you don't have to worry about your rent, your utilities, your employees, and all the other expenses that come along with running your typical bricks and mortar business. In fact, when you do your taxes, you get to claim a lot of the expenses, your household expenses, and so your profit margin is increasing even more. So you can see why I recommend information products. There's, in my mind, and a lot of people that deal with information products, there is just no comparison to the bricks and mortar business. So let's start off with step one. How are you going to start setting up your business? Well, number one, your first step is to decide what niche or industry that you'd like to target. Now, I recommend that you choose a niche that you're familiar with and something that you very much enjoy working in. Because if you simply start chasing niches where you think there's a bunch of money or you can make some fast money, but you're not really interested in them, you're going to end up creating yourself a job. Because instead of creating a business that you enjoy, you simply have a job that you have to, you simply go to, and you just do the drudgery that you're doing now if you have a job. Now, if you're having trouble pinpointing a niche that you would like to work in, I have a little exercise that's going to help you kind of get pointed in the right direction. Now, it's only 2 steps, and it's going to take you about 30 minutes maximum. So the first step, you want to ask yourself 4 questions. Number 1, what kind of magazines do you subscribe to or that you read regularly? Number 2, what industries have you worked in now or that you've worked in before and you know more than the average person on the street? Next, what associations do you belong to or have you belonged to? And the final piece of this, the first step, is what hobbies or interests do you have? All right, now the second step is to take each answer and apply the checkpoints that we're going to talk about in a second. So if you get a yes to each of the checkpoints that we're going to talk about, you found yourself an active niche that you should be able to tap into. Now, to make it a bit easier to visualize, let's say your answer to question number 1, what magazines do you read regularly, was marketing. So marketing magazine. So the niche you'd like to pursue is marketing. Now, let's go through a series of checkpoints and see if this is actually a market that is potentially profitable for you. So the first thing you're going to look at is, are there dummies books on the topic? Okay, are there Google ads on the topic? So when you Google something, let's say you went to Google and you Google marketing, is there a bunch of Google AdWords down the side? Are there a bunch of AdWords across the top? Do you see ads other than just the organic search results? All right, are there 5 or more ClickBank products on the topic? Are there books about the topic on Amazon? And finally, are there forums on the topic? Can you Google marketing forums and you actually find a bunch of forums? Now, next thing we're going to do, marketing is a pretty broad topic, so I would narrow my content down much more than simply for marketing. So for example, I drill down as deep as I was comfortable with and create a product that was very, very specific. So you're using marketing as our broad topic. Now you could drill down to internet marketing. You can go further to traffic generation, which is a part of internet marketing. You could look at social media, how social media help to generate traffic. And then you could go specifically to Facebook marketing. So how are you going to use Facebook marketing to generate traffic for your internet marketing business? So essentially, you create a product on Facebook marketing because it's very, very specific. And the more specific the product, the easier it is to sell to your target market and the higher price you can charge. Specific information generally carries a higher price tag than generic information. So marketing is fairly generic. Facebook marketing is very specific. So you could even take it one step further and really hyper target your niche products. So you could do something like Facebook marketing for real estate agents, or Facebook marketing for dentists, or Facebook marketing for veterinarians, or any number of variations. And you simply take your core product and you rework it for each different market that you want to target. Okay, now I'm jumping ahead just a little bit here, but you can see where we're going to go with this. I mean, your business can take on a life of its own, and realistically, your expansion is going to be endless. So pull back a little bit. We'll get back on track. You're going to decide how you want to essentially have your business look, and you're going to develop and sell your own product. Okay, that's number one. Or you could sell somebody else's product as an affiliate. So developing and selling your own product is going to be the most work, but it's also the most profitable. What happens is it helps you develop your credibility. It makes you more money long term. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to create a product that's only going to take you a few hours to put together. But the other way that you can do it, we're going to just basically give a couple of little overviews here. So develop your own product is the first way. The next way is to become an affiliate of uh, of somebody else's product. So basically, you are selling somebody else's product. It's some kind of the same as a commission salesperson. Now, becoming an affiliate is the fastest way to start generating some money online, but you don't develop the credibility because you haven't actually produced the product, and so you don't actually have any credibility to do with that product. But you're simply a salesperson selling somebody else's product. Now, there's other business models too, but these are pretty much the ones that I've used, and these two will definitely get you to $10,000 a month if you follow through with the actions that we're looking at. So moving forward, we're going to focus on developing your own product, because what happens is the skills that you're going to use to develop your own product are transferable to all the other aspects of your online business. So there's going to definitely be some overlap. So let's get right to it. Let's take a look at where we're at. You have a niche, or you have a specific industry that you're going to target. You have the beginnings of a business model. Now next, what you want to do is set up some general goals so that your business has a benchmark to measure your success. So setting some business goals is basically step 2 of what we are looking at doing. Now when you're setting your goals, you want to keep them realistic. All right, it's great to shoot for the stars, but if you always aim too high, you're never going to achieve your goals and you start feeling unsuccessful. So even if you say, you know what, I'm going to set my goal for instead of $10,000, I'm going to set it for $20,000 in the next 3 months, and then you hit $10,000, you feel unsuccessful because you didn't reach your goal. So you didn't keep it realistic. If you set reasonable goals and you achieve them, you feel a lot more successful, and you're more likely to do it again and again and again. And so you keep the pattern going, and you can increase your goals as you go along because you have more experience, you know how to do things, you have some of the basics in place, and it helps you move along and move forward. All right, so let's look at some goals. First of all, you want to sit down with a pen and paper, get away from your computer, take your mindset somewhere else, somewhere comfortable. Just sit down and be alone with a pen and a piece of paper and jot down some SMART goals. Now, SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So to write a SMART goal, you're going to answer some questions for each of the letter of the acronym. So let's start off with specific. You want to answer who what, why, and where. When you get to measurable, you want to ask yourself how much and how many. Attainable, you want to look at what do you need to do to actually make the goal, to make it happen. Realistic, you want to basically look at it and say, can you actually accomplish this? Do you really feel like this is something you can do? And timely, when is your goal going to be accomplished? So your SMART goal could look something like this. Now this is my specific SMART goal. You can use it as a template. It doesn't have to be your goal, but this is basically what I put. Is I will build an online business that sells marketing and business information products. My business will sell $10,000 worth of products every month within the first 3 months. In the second half of the year, my business is going to sell $20,000 each month, and I'm going to accomplish this by creating quality products, developing an email database of subscribers, and conducting webinars. Now, that's my SMART goal from basically when I restarted my business. This is kind of my comeback tour, I guess you could say. So yours is going to be tailored to your specific interests, your specific businesses, and what you want to do, but it can follow the same format. So now that you've created a SMART goal, or you're in the process, you know how to create a SMART goal, you have a direction for your company. It gives you a benchmark to be able to measure the progress of where are you now, where are you going, and what have you been able to accomplish. But you want to keep in mind that your goals are fluid. So adjust them as your business grows. If you've said, I'm going to make $10,000 in the first 3 months, and you end up accomplishing that in the first 2 months, go ahead and adjust your goal. So you maybe in your next month, you should be able to accomplish $15,000, for example, or maybe 12, whatever's comfortable for you and you feel is actually realistic. So that's as far as I really go with goal setting. It doesn't have to be a book. It's pretty much a single sheet of paper. Boom, there's your goals, and you can place that somewhere that you can see it, and it keeps reminding you of what you are moving towards. Now, moving on to step 3. Now we're going to take a look. Let's say you've decided to focus your business on affiliate sales. You're going to still want to pay attention to all the steps that we're going to go through, because you're going to use some of the knowledge that we're going to be talking about now when you're promoting other people's products as an affiliate. So here we go with creating a quality product. You basically have 4 choices when you're looking at creating a product. Number 1, you can create the product from scratch. You can sit down at your keyboard and start writing or recording, whatever you prefer, whatever you're going to create. The second option is private label rights, and this is a huge benefit, and I'll tell you about that a little bit more in a few minutes. You've got public domain, which is similar to private label rights, and then you have ghostwriters. And I think what we need to do is we'll take a look at each option in detail so that you can make an educated decision about whatever option is most appropriate for you. So if we look at option number 1, creating a product from scratch, this option, unless you really like writing, this option is very time and labor intensive. I'm one of those people that likes to write, and my first book still took me over a year to write. Now, my second book I did in about 6 months. The caveat to that is both of the books that I did part-time, because I also had other businesses to run, and I'm guessing that everybody else, or the majority of the people on the webinar this evening, either have other businesses to run or a job that you're going to as well. So writing your book is probably going to be done on a part-time basis, and it's not going to be your full-time job. So really, if choosing to create a product from scratch is what you want to do, it's going to be challenging to be able to be up and running and making $10,000 in 3 months. On the other hand, if you're writing full time and you just keep going and plowing away and putting a lot of hours every day, you could have it done in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or a month, and then you can probably crank it out and make it work. But unless you're doing it full time, I think from scratch is going to be very difficult. So I'm going to give you a formula that I use when I'm writing a book, and hopefully that'll help you to at least develop your book as quickly as possible. And it's quite a simple method, and it pretty much helps you organize your thoughts and stay on track and be as effective as possible, really, is what I try to do. So the first thing you want to do is you start off with a bit of mind mapping. Now, mind mapping is essentially a fancy term for organized brainstorming. So what you do is you want to start off with your main idea, the big bubble in the middle, and you write it down. And then you write all the main points that you can think about. So you're going to create yourself a little tree, and each of the main points is going to be a branch. Then each of the subpoints is going to be a twig. So you got yourself a little bubble in the middle, and you're building yourself a tree all around it. So let's look at it in terms of writing a book about goals. Okay. Um, First, you're going to write down all the points you can think about in broad terms. So you might want to cover points like what is a goal? You want to define what a goal is. What's the importance of goal settings? What are the results of setting goals as opposed to not setting goals, for example? So you've got your main points, and you're going to have a whole lot more points than that. We'll just keep it kind of brief for this example. The next thing you want to do is you want to add your branches. So if you take point number one, what is a goal, and then you want to add some twigs. So let's say, for example, you want to put the definition of a goal according to Wikipedia. Here's what Wikipedia says about a goal, and then you want to also add your definition. So what do you consider a goal, or what do you define a goal as? The next thing you want to look at is the importance of goal setting. So maybe you're going to refer to the Harvard goal setting study that they did back in, I believe it was something like the 70s, where part of the class set goals, part of the class didn't set goals, and then they had some extraordinary examples 10 or 20 years later where the class, the part of the class who had set goals were way, way, way ahead in life than the part of the class who had not set goals. It's a really, really good example. You can Google it and look at the specifics, the details on that. Very, very good example of the importance of goal setting. And then maybe you want to look at examples of other people who have set goals. Use some personal examples in the book of you setting goals, or somebody that you know that set goals as opposed to somebody who has not set goals, for example. And then you want to look at the results of setting goals. So what's the real purpose? So, you're achieving more in your life, you're making more money. What else is it that actually is the result of setting goals? So you want to add as many branches, as many twigs as you can possibly think about. And as you're writing, ideas are going to pop into your head from all over the place. So write it all down, and then you can organize it later. Even if you're developing a mind map and suddenly you get a whole bunch of ideas and you don't have time to get them into the formula or into the kind of the chart, go ahead and scribble them down on the corner of the page, on the back of the page, or whatever, so that you don't end up losing any of the ideas, because you don't want to miss anything that pops into your head, because they're popping in from everywhere. After you've done that, uh, you're going to take your mind mapping and you're going to write as much about each individual point as you can. Now, sometimes it might be just a sentence, sometimes it might be several pages, but just sit down and write until you have nothing left to say about your point. Now, don't uh, pad it and put a bunch of fluff into the whole thing. You want to keep it just basically the content. So after you've written as much content as you can for every single point, then you want to do some additional research and see what else you can find out about your topic. So just Google each point from your mind map and see if there's things that you haven't included, if there's things that you have forgotten about, and essentially anything that you find that you can add to your book that's going to add quality to your book. Then when you're done, you've essentially written the preliminary draft of your book. So now your next step, you're ready to edit your book. So in the editing phase, you're going to correct any of the obvious. So you've got your spelling mistakes, your grammatical mistakes. You want to make sure that it flows smoothly. One paragraph naturally leads to the next paragraph, and the information flows almost like you're building a house. So you got your foundation, your walls, your roof, and it just basically flows in a logical fashion. Now, once you're done editing as good as you can get it, you want to polish it. And the polishing is helpful if you can have a second set of eyes to look over things. So if you can ask a friend or a colleague just basically to read over what you've done and get them to make notes on anything that they don't understand, any additional spelling and grammar mistakes that they might find, and generally anything that they feel was, let's say, hard to follow, or it didn't make sense, or it didn't flow, and just get them to make lots and lots of notes. You can print it out and give them a red pen, or you can just send it to them electronically or whatever. The most important is that you have at least one second set of eyes or another pair of eyes looking at it from a critical standpoint, that they'll honestly give you some feedback. So when you get the book back, you want to consider each of their suggestions and make any of the changes that you feel are going to help improve your book. Now, once you're done with that part of it and you're happy with your book and you're ready to move on to the publishing and packaging side of things. Now, this process is relatively simple. You're basically going to convert your document into a PDF file, and you're going to do that by downloading a free piece of software called PDF 995. Now, there's lots of different software out there. This is one of them, one of the options, the free options that I use. And you can get your PDF 995 from software995.com. You simply install it on your computer, you follow the instructions, and it converts your document into PDF files. And it's very, very simple. You basically take your Word file, you click the print button, and instead of printing it on your physical printer, it prints it out as a PDF file. So it's a very, very simple process. After you've got your PDF published, the next thing you want to do is to package your PDF file. So you basically, you're going to create a zip file, or your PDF is going to go into a zip file, and this allows your consumers to easily download the product and then open it on the computer. Now, the zip file is kind of like a little suitcase that you put your publication inside. Now, I like WinZip because it packages and opens all the zip files, and I guess the downfall of WinZip is it costs about $30. So if you prefer, you can use a free zipping software, which is no problem at all. I found the two zipping software that I've used other than WinZip. You can get from Software 995. You can get Zip 995, and that'll do some. It opens and closes some zip files, not all of them. You can also get another free software from 7-Zip, and I find that it'll open the half zip files that Zip 995 doesn't. So if you go with the free version, you kind of need both. You need to go with Zip 995 and 7-Zip, because for me, for some reason, each of them will open about half the files. Now, if you want to spend the $30 and get WinZip, it seems to open everything that I've tried to unzip. WinZip is really your best bet. All right, now let's look at that's pretty much it. That's your publishing, your packaging, and then the next step obviously is to put it onto a website and start selling it. But we're going to take that's basically your first step of creating your products right from scratch. We're going to now step into creating your products using private label rights. Now, private label rights, the short form is PLR. And PLR products really give you the freedom to create your own products in a matter of hours. Now they come as source files, so you can add things to it, you can edit it, you can change it as much or as little as you like. It's completely up to you, and your products can be they could be ebooks, like I've got Guerrilla Marketing Breakthrough Strategies. Now that wasn't created from a PLR product, but it's an ebook as well as a print book. You can offer courses. You can do articles. You can do audio. You can do video. PLR, essentially, the private label rights, comes in almost any format that you can imagine. Now, PLR ebooks will generally come as Word files or some sort of text document. So you can quickly brand the document with your own marketing messages. You can add your name as the author. You can change the graphics, and essentially you edit it to suit your style. So you can literally create your own product that's ready to sell in a matter of a few hours. Now, PLR software, when you're looking at that side, you've got PLR software, you've got audio, you've got video. They're all similar to the PLR ebooks, but the source file format is different. So you're going to be looking at using MP3s, MP4s, WMV files, or something similar to that. But the whole premise is the same. You can create your own product. You add your own branding. You add some of your own content. You can edit out some of the content. It's essentially your starting point for your product. And there's literally hundreds of thousands of PLR products that you can use as a basis for your own products. Now, there's a flip side. It's not all roses, and wonderful stuff, because the flip side is that PLR products, quite a lot of them are very poorly written or poorly recorded, and they need quite a bit of editing to make the product something that you can be proud of. But even if you get a good PLR product, you still want to do some editing and give it your personality and style. You don't want to just suddenly take the PLR product and pump it out into the market exactly the way it is. You want your style, your branding, your feel to it. Now, when you're done editing the product, you simply publish it and package your work the same as we discussed earlier that we showed you on the ebook. You essentially do the same. Let's use an ebook as an example. If you have a private label rights ebook, you then simply take it and publish it and package it the same as we discussed in the previous step there. Same thing if you have used a video file or an audio file, you simply package it up in a zip file and it's ready to be sold. Now, a little bit later in the webinar, I'm going to show you how to get private label rights or PLR products, as well as lots and lots of other licensed products, essentially for pennies on the dollar. So we're going to save you quite a lot of money. Now, next, let's move on to the third option. So there's the second option of creating products that you can go out and sell. The third option is to look at public domain. Now, public domain essentially is any work that is not protected by the copyright laws, and it includes everything that's been published since 1923 or up to 1923, and some of the work up to 1978. Now, there's a bit of a gray area and some rules and regulations that you have to follow and be aware of, but you're completely fine to publish something that's been written originally before 1923. Anything before 1923 is in the public domain. Some products and publications are in the public domain up to 1978. Now, a work can be something like books. It could be a play or music or photographs, movies, instructional manuals, courses, reports, you name it. Everything has the possibility to be in public domain. There's really it's a don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like walking into a playroom for big people. Like it's like a candy store. It's absolutely incredible. So you could have even posters, for example. There's just so much of everything. It's another pool of material that you can easily edit, you brand, and republish. So the small caveat on this material is, since it's out in the public domain, everybody has access to exactly the same public domain works that you have. So everything that's in public domain has probably already been published. Now, if you want to test it out, search for Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Go into Amazon, search for Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and you'll find hundreds of versions of the book. Now, they're all by different authors, and most of them have a different spin on the information. The other small caveat is the writing style and the vocabulary from the 20s and 30s and 40s is much different than it is today. So it's sometimes a little bit challenging to read. So don't get me wrong, there is a lot of opportunity to make a decent income with public domain property. It just takes a little bit more work. It's a little more labor intensive than private label rights, but it's less labor intensive than starting off from scratch. So realistically, if you've got some time, public domain can be a lot of fun, and it is very, very profitable. If you prefer not to write, I would suggest going with a ghostwriter. And this is our final option for creating a product. Now, it could be a ghostwriter that's writing you an ebook. It could be somebody that's creating you a video. It's somebody that's creating you an audio. It's essentially somebody that you're going to outsource your product to. So if we look at ghostwriters, there's a lot of very talented writers who are just waiting to write your articles. They're waiting to write you reports or books, whatever it is that you have. You want to have videos created or audios created or anything that you want. There's people out there that are ready to do that, and they have some very high quality skills. Now, once it's done, the product is yours. It's almost the same as private label rights, where the product is yours to claim authorship. So somebody else can write it, and then you can put your name on it as the author. So using a ghostwriter is going to save you a lot of time and allows you to get your products in the marketplace much more quickly. If you go with this type of business model, you could have literally dozens of ghostwriters writing you different articles, writing you different books, recording different audios. So you could physically be pumping out product after product after product. You can be pumping out things every single day if you wanted to, depending on the number of ghostwriters that you have working on your products. Now, you can find ghostwriters or pretty much anybody else that you want to create audios, videos, ebooks, whatever. Two main sites that I use when I'm looking for ghostwriters or people to do work. Number one is elance.com, and number two is freelancer.com. Both websites have lots and lots of people with very good skills, very high skills. They also have people who have less than high skills. So you want to just look at the recommendations, reviews, any information that they have, their portfolio, that kind of thing. Now, the advantage of using one of these websites over simply hiring somebody is your payment is held in escrow until you're satisfied with the job. So once you pick yourself a person to do the work, you simply put your money into basically like a bank account at Freelancer or Elance, and then they hold that money um, for you. Whenever you are happy with the job, then you simply release the payment to your writer, your video creator, your audio creator, whoever it is. And it's really I would say it's an absolutely fantastic system that protects you as the person who's hiring somebody. It also protects the product creator, whether it's a writer, somebody recording your audio, or somebody recording your video, because it allows them the security to know that once they've got the product and sent it to you, they're still going to get paid. So it works very, very well from both sides of the table. And I guess that pretty much wraps up kind of the product creation portion of the webinar. Now I know we're doing this in very much of an overview of how are you going to go ahead and get things done, but we can go and do much more specific webinars on pretty much anything that you feel needs to be elaborated for in the future. And later on, I'm going to give you an option that you can actually contact me directly, and we can help kind of push you through the process a little bit faster. But we'll get to that in a little while. So let's look now at setting up your online business. So we're up to step 4 now, which is setting up your online business. And there's really 5 components. In this area, you're looking at 5 different components. Number 1 is your domain name. Now this is your www dot. So for example, www.terrytelford.com is a domain name or a URL. So you can there's kind of a few ways you can call it. It's your domain name, it's your URL, or some people now call it an URL. So either way, that's your www dot. The next thing you need is some hosting. So your hosting is essentially the server where your website is sitting. And again, I'm just going to give you an overview first. We're going to go into a few details about each point after, so you're fairly clear about how the whole thing works. Next, you have your website, which is essentially it's just a series of pages and folders that are sitting on a website, sitting on a server. Your next is your email management system, or your autoresponder, and that's going to feed into it's basically a two-way street. People are going to sign up from your website, and then they're going to send your autoresponder, your email management system is how you're going to stay in contact with your subscribers and keep driving them back to either your website or the affiliate programs that you're going to be promoting. Then you've got your marketing. Your marketing is essentially any communication that you're doing that's bringing your prospects to your website. So let's break it down a little bit more in detail. Number 1 is your domain registration. So your domain online, it's kind of like your street address for your bricks and mortar business. Your domain is the address that people are going to enter into their browser and find your website. So it can be pretty much anything that you want it to be as long as it's not already been registered before. I would suggest, if it's possible still, to be able to get your domain, your name as a domain, I would grab it right away if it's still available. Now your domain is going to cost you about $10 to $15 a year. For my domains, I register them at a company called Namecheap.com, and it's a very simple process. You kind of walk through it, boom, it's done. You own your domain name. The next thing you need to do is set up your hosting account. So your hosting account is essentially, it's just some space on a server where your website is going to sit, and it allows people then to access your website. So your host is kind of like your landlord. If you're looking at it in the offline world, you pretty much pay them rent every month for your little piece of real estate on the World Wide Web. So for this part in the hosting side of things, I use HostGator.com. They've been very, very good. I've used them for several years, and their customer support is fantastic. Uptime is really good. I haven't anytime I encounter an issue, customer service is able to help me with it and get it through so that it's resolved. So I totally recommend HostGator.com. The next thing is you want to build your website. Now, the easiest type of website to build is if you use a WordPress platform. So if you go to WordPress.org, you got all the instructions there on how to go about building a WordPress website, or a website using a WordPress platform. You simply set it up on your hosting account. You build your website right in your browser, so you don't have there's no complicated software to use. There's nothing that you have to build on your computer and then upload it to the website at all. It basically gives you the freedom and the flexibility to make changes to your website anywhere that you have access to computer and internet connection. So you can download WordPress from WordPress.org. And the next thing you're going to look at is your email management system. Now, the one that I use currently is called GetResponse. You can get there from getresponse.com, and you pretty much choose the the level that you're going to use when you sign up for your GetResponse account. I would suggest starting off with the smallest account, and then you can build on that after. So I think the smallest account is 500. You can have 500 people, 500 subscribers in the system. I'm not sure. I don't remember specifically, but then it could be like 1,000, 5,000, etc., etc. But start off with a small account just so you get your feet wet. The next thing is your marketing, and this is kind of the last piece of the puzzle. Some people kind of get it confused and start trying to market before they get all the pieces of the puzzle together. This is the last piece of the puzzle. So once you've got all your components in place for your business, you're going to put pretty much all your energy and efforts into building your marketing. And this is really the part of your business that's going to make or break your success. And this is where things kind of break down for people, because you experiment with something, and if it doesn't work, you just give up. That's a lot of people's kind of mindset. So what you need to do is experiment with something, track it, make sure that you know exactly how it's working, and then start tweaking it and make it something that does work. And there's a lot of different areas in marketing, a lot of different strategies that you can use, and I'm going to show you some of the most effective strategies that I've used that will pretty much propel your success quicker than a lot of the other strategies do. So once your product's created, your website's in place, it's the marketing is going to be the next big thing. Really, it's going to be your main focus, because what happens without effective marketing is you don't have any traffic and your website doesn't make any sales. So we're going to cover some of the basic marketing tactics, some of the basic marketing strategies, again in an overview fashion, because we don't have a lot of time to be able to cover all the details in this webinar, but I'm going to give you the strategies that are going to help really build a solid online business. Everything that we're going to do is duplicatable and it's scalable. So what you're going to do right now, for example, what you do today, you can do again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. you can start scaling it up by doing more the following days, and by outsourcing and hiring other people to do it, which is going to help leverage your time. But we'll get into that in just a few minutes. So you're going to create a marketing cloud that surrounds your website. And the faster that you can build your marketing cloud, the faster you're going to start making lots and lots of sales. So we're going to take a look at some of the marketing strategies, the marketing tactics that you can pretty much use on a daily basis to build your marketing cloud. Now, since we're trying to maximize your time, I like to create a primary marketing piece once, and then I repurpose it into several different media and post it in multiple locations. So it might sound a little bit cryptic at this point, so we're going to take a look at it as a very specific example. Let's take a look at, we're going to write an article. All right, we're going to write an article and we're going to post it on eznearticles.com. So we're going to use it there. That's number one. We're going to also post it on your blog. So you've used it now as a blog post. You're going to send it to your newsletter subscribers. You're going to turn it into a PDF file. You're going to turn your original article into a podcast or an MP3 file, and then you're going to put it into a PowerPoint presentation, and you're going to turn that into a video. Now, once your article is repurposed into all the various media, the next step is to start posting it. So you've got basically, you do the work once, or the main content once, and then you repurpose it into all these different areas. And then what you're going to do is start posting it. So you're going to take your PDF file and you're going to post it on Scribd.com. Now I'm going to give you the sites that I use on a regular basis. There's lots and lots and lots of sites out there, but if you want to start posting everywhere, it's going to take you a really long time in your posting phase, and I prefer to use a smaller number of sites to post on and be able to post a larger quantity of content. So Scribd, for example, you'll find that there's a decent amount of content that I've posted there. Whereas, if you had, let's say you had 10 websites that you're going to post to, it's going to have there's going to be less quantity on each website. So I prefer to take a smaller number of websites and post a lot more content. Hopefully that makes some sense, and I wasn't too cryptic there. My podcasts, I use iTunes and Blog Talk Radio. That's kind of the two main ones. I also use TalkShoe, which I haven't listed there, but TalkShoe.com as well is basically the third one. When it comes to videos, of course YouTube. I mean, YouTube is the big place to put it, and you also want to use, then once you've got these posted, you want to use some social media to start promoting your marketing collateral or your marketing pieces. So what I do is I bookmark my ezine article on StumbleUpon, and you can add your blog post to Delicious, to Facebook, to LinkedIn, to Twitter. So you've got all these social media pointing back to your blog post, which is it's very high quality links back to your blog, which is obviously it's your website, and then it also helps your website get a better ranking on the search engines because it's got a lot of links that are quality links posted back to that. That's a complete other webinar on search engine optimization, but very briefly, get your blog post basically a little note on Delicious, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter that says, here's the newest blog post, blah blah blah, whatever it is. Take a look at your leisure. Obviously not that wording, but that's what you're looking at doing. You're then going to post your Scribd post on Digg, and I guess essentially what you're looking at is you've created yourself a targeted traffic funnel that's going to generate a steady flow of traffic to your website. Now you've done all this. All this is created out of your article. So you've done an article, you've put it out there to a lot of different channels, and now it's all moving traffic towards your website. So your social media, if you look at the top of the funnel, you got your social media linking to your article that's been repurposed in all its different versions. And then all those different versions are now pointing to your website. So it's a very, very simple funnel to create. It does take a little bit of time, but the nice thing about it is it's duplicatable and it's scalable. So at the beginning, if you're not outsourcing some of the tasks to other people, it's going to take you a little time because you're working on your own. As your business starts developing an income, you can start hiring people to do specific things within that whole traffic funnel. So you might have somebody that's writing your articles. You might have somebody else that's turning your articles into videos. You might have somebody else that's turning your articles into audios, and then maybe somebody else is posting it to all the social media. So you can involve several different people, which again leverages your time. You simply come up with the content or the kind of the idea for each of the articles, and then you put it out there to your team, and your team is basically going to be creating the whole kind of the workings of your business, if you will. So what happens with this business model, just to kind of, we'll take a little step back. Your followers and your friends, everybody who's in your Facebook, your Twitter accounts, etc., are going to find your product by reading your article and then clicking on your link. So it's really a two-step process. So up front, it sounds like kind of a long path to getting to your product, but the way that you're doing it, it allows your readers to feel like they've actually discovered your product as opposed to feeling like you're pushing it on them. Now, the benefit of doing it this way is your audience feels like they're the ones that found the product. So they take essentially they take a greater ownership in the whole process, and they don't feel like that you're just trying to sell them something. This is one of the ways that you're developing your credibility, all right, and it's within your market. So you want to just simply recommend resources, which are your articles. They can be on Scribd, they can be on your blog, wherever you're sending them, and you're going to be recommending resources to them to help them find more information about the what you're suggesting to them. So you write the article, and your article is then pointing to your product. Now, I guess kind of again step back. I think I made that a little bit too complicated for you. Um, if you think about the conversation going on in the people's head, all right, it's going to look something like this. Like, you open your email or you're in your Facebook, whatever. You say, oh look, Terry's posted an article on how to start an online business. I think I'll just go check that out. So you're going to read the article. You're sufficiently impressed with the information that I presented to you, and you click the link on the bottom of the article that then takes you to my book on Amazon. So you think, oh wow, look, he's written an entire book on how to start a business online. And since I like the article, I'm sure I'm going to like the book too. And then they go ahead and they purchase your book. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and purchase that book. Now, if you think about the conversation going on in their head, if you simply promote your product directly, it's going to be something more, I shouldn't say it's going to be, it could be something like, oh, hey, I got an email from Terry promoting a book. You know what, I have enough information about starting a business online, and it's pretty much all the same stuff anyway, so I really don't need another book. So you can see the difference. If they're simply going to read an article and then they click through and they read and they find that you also have a book, you've developed a little bit more credibility. You've given them something for free, which is the article, some information, some quality information. You've got them on your side, and then you move them over to your product or your book. So it's a two-step process, but they feel like they have ownership. They found the product on their own. You didn't simply try to push your product on them. A little bit of a psychology behind it, but it really makes a big difference and helping you develop your credibility and also helping develop repeat customers. Now, the difference between the two is essentially you're looking at either direct or indirect marketing. So direct is simply saying, you know what, here's my ebook or here's my book. You can go and buy it on Amazon.com. The indirect side is what we just talked about. Here's an article, take a look, they read the article, they click on the link, and then they get to the book. So either way, they end up at the same point. If you're promoting your book, for example, they end up at the same point, just two different ways of getting there. And honestly, both methods work, and it's a good idea to kind of mix it up a bit and usually use both indirect and direct methods for that as well. The next thing we're going to look at is actually your book on Amazon. Now, Amazon is the world's largest. It used to be the world's largest bookstore. Now it's kind of the world's largest bookstore slash department store. So publishing your information product on Amazon means that you're going to be tapping into an absolutely massive distribution system. So you're still going to need to market your products, but as you develop your portfolio of your ebooks, some audios, some videos, and whatever other products that you have, you start cross-promoting them, and everything's going to develop really into a web that promotes all your different products. You're going to be able to then develop a large group of customers who are buying several of your products because everything gets cross-promoted. So to market your products you have on Amazon, I recommend using press releases quite heavily and forum marketing as well. So with your press releases, what happens is um, you need to come up with something that's newsworthy. So they're awesome because they're a very low cost way of getting your marketing message out, but it's written a little bit differently than an article or a sales letter because it focuses specifically on what's news. So you kind of have to ask yourself, what's newsworthy about your product? And there's lots of stuff. You can look at when you first release your product, you first put your product up on Amazon. That's news. It's your first product, just uploaded on Amazon. The next release is your next press release you can do when you take your ebook and you convert it into an audio version. Well, that's news. Um, there's lots of touch points along the way as your business grows and you keep developing new products, keep um, turning your products into new media, and every time you basically do something that's new, that's news. So you can have that featured in a press release. Now, my favorite press release tool is freepressrelease.com. They distribute your press release obviously for free, as the name says, but they also have other options. Now, I use the $30 option, um, and I really, really like that option because you can start tracking your progress of your press release and you can get more exposure. Usually what happens, because you're using the $30 side and you can see all the tracking features, generally I'll find that my press releases will have 4,000 to 5,000 readers. Uh, Generally translates to about 100 to 500 website visitors, depending on the press release, how relevant it is, how interesting it is, and a lot of different factors in that. So between 100 and 500 visitors. Usually converts into about 4 to 10 sales, depending again, price points of the product and a variety of different things. And you usually get about 40 to 200 newsletter subscribers. So it's a very, very effective way to use $30. That's a lot of impact for 30 bucks. So you're looking at the whole package of being able to make sales. You're building your subscriber database. You're developing your credibility, your branding, and you've got the exposure. So you've got, realistically, it's a lot of bang for your buck. It's a really, really good way to do it. Now, another way to do to get your product out there is use forum marketing. And all you have to do is simply Google your niche and the word forums to find the active forums in your market. Now, you just read the posts, you answer the ones that you can, and it essentially helps you in two ways. Number one, it develops your credibility very, very quickly. And number two, most forums allow you to have a signature file with a link to your website. So people are going to start to see you as an expert in your field, and they naturally start to look for work that you've published. What other information have you put out there that they could possibly consume? So some of them are going to click on your link, obviously, and some of them are going to buy your products. So using forum marketing is definitely a positive way to use your time. It does take some time, but it's absolutely a fantastic way to effectively use your time. Now, next up, we're going to look at affiliate marketing. Now, this time it's not affiliate marketing where you're selling other people's products. It's affiliate marketing where other people are selling your products. So it's an absolute kind of a reverse to what you were doing before. So you're going to set up an account with JVZoo, and you're going to connect your PayPal account to it, and that system allows other people to sell your products for you, and JVZoo takes care of all the administration, the commission payments, and all that kind of hassle that goes along with it. Now you can use JVZoo, you can use ClickBank. There's lots and lots of other systems out there. What I found is JVZoo, because it was created by internet marketers, it has the most robust system available to be able to do everything from working on traffic funnels and an entire customer service funnel to the way that you can invite joint venture partners and other affiliates and all that. It's just an absolute completely robust, beautiful system. You just go to jvzoo.com and it's got everything there for you. And finally, the absolute most magical marketing tactic in your marketing portfolio is your email marketing. Now, once somebody subscribes to your newsletter, you can send them pre-scheduled email from your autoresponder every single week, or you can do it a couple times a week, daily, whatever you decide is appropriate for your market. Now, internet marketing wise, some people feel it's appropriate that you can send people something every single day. I don't feel that there is enough relevant information that somebody would need to hear from me every single day. A couple times a week, potentially that's a good schedule. I find a couple times a week is comfortable, not only from the point of view of me receiving email, like if I'm on the other side of the table, if I receive an email from you a couple of times a week, I find for me that's comfortable. Again, flip it again to the other side of the table, writing a couple of emails a week is a comfortable pace as opposed to sitting down writing email every single day, and people often get tired of hearing from you. Flip side of that, if you're in the Forex market, for example, foreign exchange, you might be sending out 3 or 4 emails a day depending on what the market is doing, what your subscribers need. It's all dependent on your market. So you just kind of set the tempo and play it out and see how it works. If you're getting a lot of unsubscribes, maybe pull back a bit. Don't email so much, and also make sure that all the content that you're sending obviously is high quality content. So that part you pretty much just have to play with and see what works best for your market. So if we take a look at what we've done, we're going to step back just a moment again. You look at your marketing cloud that's surrounding your website. You're essentially driving perpetual traffic to your business. Now, the important point about this type of traffic is it's duplicatable and it's scalable. Anything that you do, you want to be able to do it again and again and again, and you want to be able to do it more and more and more. So you do it again and more and again and more. If you want more traffic to your website, all you have to do is you simply add more marketing, you follow the steps that we just covered, and it plays itself out. It's basically that simple. You just do more of the same things that you're doing. Now, the fastest way to build a good income online is to develop a quality product quickly and get it out to the market. Okay, this is what we talked about a little bit previously about developing your product. Again, this is probably one of the most difficult parts, but it's not difficult to create a quality product. It's difficult to create a quality product quickly. Now it took me, like I said, it took me a year to write my first ebook, and I didn't write every single day, and it wasn't my full-time job, but it did take quite a long time. So I'd anticipate you might be in a similar situation. It's not something that you're going to be doing on a full-time basis at the beginning. So if you want to build a quality product quickly, again, back to what we discussed before, your fastest way is to start off with your private label rights. And like I said before as well, I was going to show you where you can go to get private label rights, public domain, and a whole bunch of other licensed products for essentially pennies on the dollar. In fact, I'm going to show you where you can go and get them for a 98% discount. Now, these are the products that I've created specifically for the private label rights market, as well as a host of other products that I purchased that have rights and various. There's a variety of different rights, variety of different niches and topics, and the whole bit. And in total, it's a product portfolio that encompasses 995 products, and that includes everything from article packages to ebooks to reports. You've got audio products, you've got courses, there's videos. You can essentially start your business rolling in the next couple hours with this one package. Now, these products on their own sell individually from $10 to $297 for every single product. So you've got some products that are, let's say for example, it's you might have a 20-page report that sells for $10. You have a 7-part e-course that sells for $297. So depending on the product, obviously depends on what price point is in there. So the actual value, the package value, is $14,485. Now, the difficulty with buying a larger package of products is you have a lot of products, but there's still nobody to answer your specific questions about how to connect the things together. How do you take this portfolio of products and actually build your business quickly? So what I've done, in addition to this massive product package, I've also included 2 hours of email coaching sessions just to ensure that you're building your business as fast as you possibly can. Now, this is 2 hours of individual one-on-one email coaching. So you send me your questions and I answer you specifically right back to you. It's one-on-one between you and I. Now, you can essentially ask me anything that you want about marketing, anything you want about building your business, and I'm going to get you up and running. Generally, the way that it's happened before, I've done coaching for a very long time. And what's happened before is usually your business starts off about 10 times faster than if you don't have a coach. Even if you have a coach that's not specifically me, as long as they're a quality coach, they know what they're doing, they generally propel your business ahead faster. You get things going about 10 times faster than if you're trying to navigate the whole thing on your own. So definitely very, very important part of your business, getting yourself a coach. I have 2 business coaches myself, and each one in a different kind of genre, a different specific area. Very, very important to have yourself a business coach. So essentially, if we look at the dollar value, a 1-hour email coaching session like this, my fees are $250 an hour. Now, what I'm doing, because I've just launched this program, I'm going to make a very, very special deal with you. I'm going to give you 2 coaching sessions, like I said before, absolutely free. Absolutely free. The small caveat, or I guess the one thing I am asking from you, is if you will write me a testimonial telling me about how you're building your business using these products or this product portfolio. That's all I'm asking. So actually, the value, the dollar value, is an additional $500. So the total value of the package is $14,985. Now, obviously, I could easily franchise the package for $15,000 or more, but since it's my, I guess, kind of like my comeback tour, this is my coming back out of retirement tour. I want to get as many people enrolled into the program as possible and help you start making your $10,000 a month. I'd love to be able to see every single person that watches this webinar be able to get up and running to $10,000 in the next 3 months. Obviously, like I said, it's dependent on your actions, but it's not a difficult system. It's something that pretty much everybody can do. The average person can absolutely do this. And you don't have to be technically oriented. You basically learn as you go along. When I started in 2001, I knew nothing about the internet. And this, you just kind of build and build and build, and you learn one thing one day, you learn the next thing the next day, and you just build on it. So basically what we're doing, I'm not charging $15,000 for the program, because that would limit it to a very select group of people, and I want to make this available for the bulk of the people to be able to get in and be able to do this. So I'm not even going to charge half price. In fact, I want to make sure that you have as much money as possible so that you can put it into your business and doing things like registering your domain name, having it for, you've got some money to be able to market your product. So I'm not even going to charge $1,000, and I'm not going to charge $500. Essentially, if I was charging $500, that basically would cover the cost of my 2 email coaching sessions that I'm giving you for free. So it would cover my 2-hour cost of the email sessions. But what I want to do for this entire package, which includes 995 products to start your business immediately. You got the 2 email coaching sessions between you and I, directly between you and I. All your business and marketing questions are going to be answered. Plus, you've got a 90-day, 100% money back guarantee. I'm only asking $197. That's all